Some say love is the greatest feeling in the world, while others would say it's a feeling out of this world. Well, the anime MCs on this list took that a bit too literally. Number 10.
ご主人様、眠れないの？
様子を見に来ただけだ。もう寝ろ。
Teaching us how to raise a furry girlfriend, first up is the rising of the Shield Hero. While famous as a flagship anime in the rage-bait isekai niche, this is personally one of my favorite modern anime with just how comfy the relationship is between Naofumi and Raphtalia. Transported to another world after reading a book in the library, Naofumi was given the title of Shield Hero and with that, the legendary shield as his weapon. After a bit of discrimination and betrayal, he's practically left alone besides the usual otaku knowledge that helps him fend for himself to a degree. As he wields a shield for a weapon and is unable to equip anything else, it was inevitable that he finds himself an ideal partner. Problem is, no one likes a shield hero. But luckily for him, slavery isn't all too bad in this world. Well, it's still bad, but you know, it's legal at least. Now I know what you're thinking. How can this possibly be romance? Raphtalia is a little raccoon, and she's a slave on top of that. Well, I'd say there's plenty of slave harem anime out there, but also Raphtalia being a furry means she grows quite fast. With all that out of the way, it's a heartwarming sight to see how Raphtalia is able to be such a welcome warmth to Naofumi's life, allowing him to heal from his psychological and emotional wounds. In turn, Naofumi himself shows his utmost dedication to caring for and protecting Raphtalia, while also trusting her as a comrade. Number 9.
その時代の文化、技術水準、勇者についての知識です。
私の生きていた世界とは別物だ。文明は中世と近世の間くらいか。
Making some new magic together, we have the world's finest assassin gets reincarnated as an aristocrat. Making an honest living as the world's greatest assassin sounds like plenty of fun. But every dog has his day, and for our MC, he's reached just that. He was getting old anyway, and now he has another chance as an assassin in a fantasy world of swords and magic. Plus, now that he's young, he's able to get back to things he couldn't before, like getting into a romance full of youth, with a pretty young girl actually. Well, if Rudy has taught me anything, it's that there are always more degenerate dudes out there. Contrary to what you might think, this romance is quite wholesome. I mean, sure, our MC, now known as Lou, rizzes up any promising girl like he's a playboy, but he's actually quite a softie deep down. All the girls he seemingly got close with, for his own self-interest, eventually got close to his no longer rusty heart. But among all the fine ladies in the land, his first girl, Dia, seemingly has a reserved spot up top. Having been the first of his girls he's gotten close with, Dia was the one who taught Lou how to use magic. Because of this, he actually kept regular contact with her, no matter what other business he may have. All that certainly aided in his heart, eventually melting for Dia, even leading him to go against his usual cold-hearted approach and risk himself just to save her.
獲物が走って逃げると体温の上昇で肉の味が落ちる。また内臓を傷つけると肉に臭みが出る。
Number 8. Stealing the hearts of demons everywhere, next up is Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun. After being worked to the bone by negligent parents, Iruma is sold off to a literal demon to live out the rest of his sad life. Thankfully for him, only the first half of that is true. Turns out being sold off to a demon isn't too bad as long as the demon is an old geezer who just wants to have a grandchild. Double lucky for Iruma, his new granddaddy Sullivan is also at the top of the demon hierarchy and even runs a school, so his life is pretty set. Charming all sorts of companions along the way, Iruma ends up pretty blessed with a great cast of loyal friends. Among them is the aloof yet never lacking ball of floof, Clara, potentially the cutest character in this series. She's loyal to no end to those who find themselves as her friend. After going through a whole bunch with Iruma, she at one point grapples with herself in what it means to truly like someone. Though ultimately setting in the platonic stage for now, she definitely did well in making my heart skip a beat at least.
いつかメロメロにしてやるぜ。
あれ？ドキ？
But it doesn't end there. As many would say, Amelie is actually a frontrunner in the race for Iruma's heart. With no shortage of romantic moments shared, I can't help but feel even the creator is gunning for this ship to sail too. And while I do love Clara, I can't deny that Amelie's moments of clumsiness and love-struckness do make a great gap with her usually cool and collected facade. Plus, she's voiced by the Snow Queen herself, Saori Hayami. Like, how does this even sound like that? What a dream girl indeed.
大丈夫
ですか?
Number 7. Bringing magic into this not-so-wonderful world, we have the magical revolution of the reincarnated princess and the genius young lady. Known as the Marauder Princess, the title is well-earned by Anis for her eccentric and often brutish nature with her love for magic. Ironic as it is, though, despite loving magic so much, she's not capable of using it, and all that ties back to the fact that she's actually an otherworlder. With memories of a modern life, she has advanced ideas on technology, a distaste for royal formalities, and an otaku-esque love for anything magic. Most importantly, she also has a modern taste for yuri relations, the accepting type of taste, I mean.
それからというもの、空を飛ぶために無茶ばかりなさって。そんなこともありましたな。一体これまで何本のほうきが犠牲になったことか。
Enter Yuffie, newly minted villainess complete with a bullying rep and a broken off marriage to boot. While of course all those are unjustly put upon her, I'd say she's quite fitting to be called a villainess still, would you agree? Anyway, Yuffie is Anis' newly captured assistant and pocket waifu as she dedicates her life to speedrunning a magical revolution. With her advanced knowledge and lack of care for tradition, she hopes to meld together magic and technology to make magic accessible to all. And maybe even get a speedrun in on being the first ever Yuri couple in this world. With enough brawn to take down a dragon and brain to make all sorts of contraptions, I'm certain either future isn't too far off.
これってどこへ向かってるんでしょうか。ティルティのところ。ティルティというとクラーレと公爵家の長女。
Number 6.
クレア様の頭なでなでがあればな。頑張れるんだけどな。
Putting the U in Yuri, we have I'm in love with the villainess. Speaking of Yuri and villainy, Rei and Claire aren't going down without a fight to make it on this list, especially since I just love this series. Rei is the best example of an isekai MC who makes use of their knowledge to their advantage, particularly since she uses it for her more frivolous desires. Luckily for Rei, she's reincarnated into the MC of this world, so she's got more than enough personal power to handle whatever comes her way, unless what's coming her way is Claire, in which case she doesn't mind taking it all in the face.
この場に貴族がいるのは危険です。でもこの騒ぎを鎮めないと。今は無理です。早くこちらへ。
But seriously, if you're looking for an isekai MC who isn't shy about wanting love, this is a must-watch to get your fill. Other than that, there's a fair bit of action, a boatload of comedy, and a lot of interesting events that are mainstay in otome anime. For me, what especially separates this from other anime in this niche is the attention given to Claire as a second main character, really establishing her as a true villainess, but minus the actual douchebaggery. Her haughtiness is a reflection of her giant pride in herself as royalty, and she takes that responsibility very seriously, as you'll come to see over the course of the anime. And this all just makes for fun chemistry with Rei, who is oftentimes off the rails with her antics.
というわけでクレア様、ここは人生最初の共同作業といきましょうか。
Still with us on this romantic adventure? I'd hate for you to get isekai'd in the middle of all this. Then again, I wouldn't mind getting isekai'd myself if it meant I could find some love. How about you? What's your favorite romantic pair from this list so far? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Make sure to hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. Number 5.
私は
Moving on to a knight in a kinda shiny armor, we have Handyman Saito in Another World. As a fan of the isekai genre itself and all the random trash ideas to come from it, I don't think much when I picked up on Handyman Saito in Another World. Turns out though, I was in for a pleasant surprise with an MC who not only fully makes use of his isekai knowledge, but also fully takes responsibility for swooning a girl. While the MC is just a handyman and lacks any combat capabilities, the anime thrives with its rich cast of characters that all add some sort of value to this series. One of these amazing characters is Railza, and she's the love-struck girl in question. Now, personally, I think Laugh-in Pan is quite an adorable character as well, but as the anime itself points out, Saito is a bit too large for a small fairy. Not too much of a bummer though, as Railza is a cute character herself, with her gap moe coming in when she isn't in the heat of battle. It's a very interesting watch to see how Saito finds his place in this world, gaining appreciation and recognition for his simple skills that are looked down upon in the modern world. As I alluded to as well, the Saito and Railza ship sails quite smoothly, a welcome contrast to the usual harem isekai.
神よ、私は罪深い。何を？
Number 4.
ですが、
君に任せよう。
よろしいのですか？
キース、お前の給金と僕への補助金が滞っているな。
Taming more than just Pokemon, we have I'm the villainess, so I'm taming the last boss. So, an otaku is sent into the body of a villainess from her favorite otome game. Yeah, sounds like something we've all seen a few other times before. However, in this one, she goes after a dark, powerful side character to protect herself from a bad ending. Okay, I guess we've seen that one too. This one's pretty good though. It's funny. It has an MC voiced by Ria Takahashi.
君のせいか。ベルゼビュートが最近おかしいのは。
おかしいだなんて、騎士らしくなってきましたでしょ?
And it's got pleasant romance throughout the show. The story starts off in a typical manner with the mysterious dude being a bit hard-nosed and shelled up. And Eileen's straightforwardness at the start definitely didn't help things. Before you realize it though, the relationship between the two quickly softens and you're already faced with quite a power couple. I mean, even as a dude, you gotta appreciate the tsundere of Claude, which just pairs amazingly with Eileen's goofiness. And while their pairing is great and all, Eileen isn't one to rest on her laurels. Over the course of the series, Eileen is constantly on her toes to make sure nothing puts her husband Claude in the path of last boss destruction. And honestly, that's just gotta be the most memorable thing about her.
彼らとは随分仲がいいようだな。
仕事仲間と信頼関係を築くのは当然ですわ。
Number 3.
ノ
Taming another furry wife on this list, we have Chillin' in Another World with level 2 super cheat powers. Putting a spotlight on anime's second favorite wolf and merchant duo, this series shows you the importance of having an insane amount of luck in life. Originally a merchant named Banaza, he was transported to another world to fulfill the role of hero for the people. That is until the people who summoned him realized he had the stats of an everyday Joe and wouldn't want to be able to defend himself from a rabid dog. But I did mention a lesson about luck, and this isn't Shield Hero 2.0. So after being kicked out of the kingdom for a handsome blonde douche, he ends up in a forest where he manages to beat some slimes and level up to level 2.
Yuusha様。
通夜か待たせたな。
いえいえ。待つのも召使いとして大事なお仕事でございますので。
And just like any reasonable leveling system, he gains infinite stats and pretty much every magic there is. See what I tell you about luck? If that isn't enough, he ends up face to face with a giant rabid dog and pretty easily does whatever he wants with it. He even gets it to turn into a waifu. How lucky indeed. Well, sadly for the dog, she isn't able to do whatever she wants just yet. But that's just the start of the beautiful journey of this isekai adventure, as Banaza, now known as Fleo, spends his day with the wolf woman Risu. Their party of friends grows, but so too does their love. By the end of the series, you could even say they get a bit too hot and steamy. But that's just a scene to be enjoyed when you see it. Oh, but while I did say this isn't a Shield Hero 2.0, Fleo sure knows how to dish out some revenge, so best not to disturb this dude's chill living.
妻である私が一番よく知っておりますもの。旦那様が困っているものを捨ておけない優しい方だということを。
Number 2.
他の連中には君らへ手出し現金だと言っておいた。俺は今後も君たちに危害を加えることもないし、衣食住も保証する。
Repopulating goblin kind, next up is Dream Monster. Now, while haters may say this is just like any other overpowered MC isekai anime, well, I'd agree with them. But also, I'd bet they wouldn't be able to mention another anime that has the MC performing a C-section to deliver their own child. Not just once, but 4 times too! Tomokui Kanata was an inhabitant in some futuristic cyberpunk world, though sadly after meeting the wrong gal, he ends up in a much more generic fantasy world. And to add insult to death-dealing injury, he's reborn as a goblin of all things. Like the only thing worse would be a slime, or maybe not, at least they could shapeshift. Thankfully for him, he has a pretty cool granddaddy goblin who names him Goburo and teaches him the peasant ways of the goblin. Clearly not sold on the lifestyle, he takes full advantage of his access to his previous life's power, which enables him to gain power from those that he devours.
元気よく朝の挨拶をした赤髪の子は駆け出しのウォリアーらしいが、現状では役立たずなので、いずれ訓練に参加してもらおう。
Yeah, this is sounding pretty close to that slime anime, huh? Well, last I checked, we're inching towards 100 episodes with that, and Rimuru hasn't gotten anywhere near the adult pleasures that old Goburo has. While at many times Goburo may seem a bit on the vicious side, he's consistently a reasonable fella, giving aid to humans and monsters alike, and giving other things. That's romantic enough in my book.
目を覚ますと、いつの間にか反対側にゴブミちゃんも寝ていた。左右腕枕でしばらく腕が痛かったです。
Number 1.
信じられない。そんな別世界があるなんて。
俺だって信じたくねえよ。とにかく俺を元いたとこに返してくれ。
無理。
Finishing this list with a bang, we have the originator of exploding magic, the familiar of Zero. You probably didn't expect this anime on a list in 2024, but the familiar of Zero is quite literally the greatest example of isekai romance there is. Who exactly says that? Well, I do. Some may see Louise overtly violent and be disgusted, but what I see is a relationship spanning 49 episodes and one that goes through the highest of highs and lowest of lows. Yes, they may grow closer every season only for Saito to look at another girl and get stomped on back to zero. But I think it's poetic to the title in a way. If you can excuse the repetitive tsundere gags, what you'll find is a truly heartfelt romance and a fantasy adventure that even a British orphan couldn't dream of.
何が誤解だって言うんだよ。二股かけてるお前が悪いんだろ。
やっぱりこの1年生に手を出してたんじゃない。
I think this series has pretty underrated action as well, and for my money, pretty epic moments at times. Of course, there's a large cast of characters, including a large cast of women for Saito to gawk at, but have no fear, the series isn't titled The Familiar of Big Boobies after all. As I said, heartwarming romance. And considering the era in which this was made, for a fantasy anime like this to have a definitive sailing of a ship, there's no question it deserves to be on today's top 10 list.
ずっと寝ないでサイトさんの面倒を見てましたから。
ルイズが？
And that's all we got for today's video. Did that get your palate tingling for some out-of-this-world romance? If you got in the mood, consider putting down a big fat super thanks on this video. Leave a comment down below too for your thoughts. We always love hearing them. Share this video if you want to spread the love, and like and subscribe if you want to see more of this content. Till next time.